What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about the market very quickly. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, as far as the market's going, I just wanted to give you guys a fast update. Just know one thing, I have very limited time today. I do have some business to deal with. But in my limited time, I want to give you guys a quick update just to help you guys out with what's going to happen for tomorrow. So, with what's going on, I just want to say that there was some good news that came out over the weekend. The Senate has passed the 6-month funding bill, once again, sending it to Donald Trump's desk. President Trump has signed it, and we have avoided the government shutdown. So, that's good news that's come out. However, there's been a lot of things going on involving geopolitics. That's very important. It's been going on in the Middle East, and this is not good, at least for the markets for now. So I want to be very careful with this, just to see what kind of reaction we get. Could be very mixed depending on how you interpret things. Will we try to run more because of the government shutdown being avoided, or are we going to see a bit of a pullback because of this? And that's why I want to talk about what's very likely to happen. Also, for tomorrow, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have retail sales data coming out. This might cause some volatility, so watch for that very closely. And once again, the market still remains at extreme fear. Hopefully, this does cool off as time goes on. Anyways, as far as the market's going, let me make this very clear. SPY, if you want to turn bullish on SPY for tomorrow, we want to see this hold above 565. If that holds, we're looking for an attempt to get back up towards not just 572, but also this like 575 target for a nice push to the upside for a reversal target. If we're bearish, okay, you want to see SPY lose that 560 area. The main support is going to be very close to that 555 area. If we lose that, we're going to remain bearish, and we're looking for a dump back down towards these lows, towards 550 or below. Now, my prediction is that there might be some kind of downside move coming with this news, but if we can make a higher low again, and we can eventually break 565, there is still potential for us to try to eventually push up over the next couple of days, approaching FOMC for a nice little rebound like this. But just for confirmation, let's see if we get some kind of like dip in the morning before we see some buyers step in to try to push us back above 565. We had a very solid, strong close on Friday. So if we could continue this, it's going to be very good. Another thing is there could be some optimism as we approach FOMC. We'll see what happens with Jerome Powell, and that's going to be the next major catalyst. So for the time being, watch your levels just to be safe. Look for some kind of pullback move in the morning tomorrow, and we'll see if some buyers return. If they don't return and we can't get back up, then once again, we have the bearish and the bullish cases to be watching for. But for now, that's what I'm predicting, and we'll see what happens depending on these levels. There's still upside potential considering that we did avoid that government shutdown. And if we get a ceasefire news from Russia and Ukraine, that could still help things. So look for a pullback in the morning. We'll see what kind of reaction we get as time goes on. On the triple Q, I want to see it hold above 480 to remain bullish. We do have this gap down here, which makes me a little bit apprehensive. So are we going to see some kind of pullback move first? If we can't hold 475, I do expect it to come down to fill this gap near 471. So 470 to 471 could be coming. If we can't hold above 475, we could retest these lows again. So keep that in mind. If we end up breaking 480, I do expect this to pump quite a bit more all the way back up towards 485 plus. There's a good chance that's going to be happening. So we'll see if we get a pullback move first. There could be one more little liquidity grab down here. We could grab liquidity down here to fill this gap. Then we'll see if we get a reversal. If that's the case, approaching FOMC, we could still get launched back up towards these highs. So look for a little pullback move, most likely tomorrow morning. I do anticipate that looking at this chart. We might be coming back down to fill this gap. If we get bought back up, you want to see it get back above 480 to remain bullish. If we can't, we're either going to be range bound between these two levels, or we could be dipping back down. You need to see us hold 480 to be bullish. If not, like I said, be very careful. I do predict this is the most likely possibility, especially because there could be a lot of good news coming out with the ceasefire and such. But just to be safe, look for that pullback and see if we can truly hold these levels. On the Russell 2000, the same thing is going on. So we have this trend line, this white trend line acting as resistance. If you want to be bullish, I want to see it break past this 205 area, which is where the 50 EMA is going to be tomorrow. I do think that there might be a pullback move as well, as we have this like imbalance down here. So we might be retesting like 200 or so. If we don't hold 200, we remain bearish. We're looking for a dip back down to like 196. If we hold 200, we could be looking for a bounce back up to 205 plus. And if that holds, we're looking for a big reversal move. So look for a test of 200 and see what kind of reaction we get and give this the time it needs. On ES, there's good news. The good news is that we're holding this support right over here. This is doing a good job so far at holding support. As long as we hold that, we could see potential for a bounce. However, let me just say that We're going to be looking to see if we get a pullback move first, about 56.01, if not below. We'll see about that. There might be a small pullback move, but as the government shutdown was avoided, this might still continue to uptrend as time goes on to get back up to this upper resistance. As long as you don't lose like 55.50, I think there's potential for this. 5600 and 55.50. If we lose 55.50, I am looking for these lows to be retested, so be careful and watch that very closely on ES. Might be a dip towards the 55.75 to 55.50 area, and then we'll see if we get some kind of rebound. So watch for that very, very closely just as time goes on. Looking at NQ, we have the same thing essentially. Excuse me. We have the same thing essentially going on. We're making lower highs right over here. I want to see us get back above 19,873. If we break that, we're looking for the 20,000s. We have a double bottom setup, but if we fail at 19,000, we will remain a little bit more bearish. Watch 19,500 is one support. If that fails us, we could be continue to see a bigger decline back down to these lows. And we have to break 19,873 to be more bullish. Technically speaking, we could be looking for a move like this where we try to bounce and eventually start pushing for 20,000 again for a temporary rebound. I still think there's a good chance of the market trying to do this. But like I said in my previous video, it's going to be likely temporary, so give that some consideration. We're barely at support right here on Bitcoin, but at the same time, you could also argue that if we do get some kind of dip, as long as 80,000 holds, we could try to bounce. If we lose 80,000, we will turn more bearish like this, but I want to see 80,000 holds, so if it does, this could try to make a nice reversal move. So watch and see if we hit 80,000. We'll see if we bounce off that to continue to get back above 83,764 to remain bullish. For Nvidia, it's looking bullish. It looks like it wants to go up to 125, but we have to hold above 120 and then 117 for confirmation. If we lose 117, we're looking for a dip to 115 or below, especially as we have this gap at 109. If we're bullish, you want to get back up. You want to hold above 120 at the very least, and we're looking for 125 as our target. I think Nvidia does favor upside, at least technically speaking. We'll see if we retest 117 to grab liquidity at our EMAs, and if we bounce off those, this could take us back up towards this like 125 area. So I'm going to be looking at this liquidity zone, most likely to be tested. Tesla's looking decent, but I do have an issue. We haven't held 250 so far. If it holds, we're looking for 262 as our target. If we can't hold that, we could be dipping back down towards 240. If that fails us, we will turn back down. So in my opinion, we're looking for kind of like a dip and a bounce. And if we break 250, we're looking for an attempt to get back up towards this gap fill for 262. For Apple has a nice looking structure. We're trying to reverse here, but it depends on news. We're finally getting some good news after so much selling that came after Morgan Stanley announced the fact that they were kind of reducing their shipments targets. So we want to see this low hold around this 210 area. If that holds, we're looking for a bounce back up towards 216. Watch that very closely. I'm going to go over just a few more. Netflix has kind of like a cup and handle here. I want to see it break above 940. We're looking for a bigger pump. If we lose 900, we could turn back down towards the 870s, but I'm looking for a nice push attempt. MSTR has resistance around 305. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 320 plus. If we end up losing 275, we'll turn back down, but I think we have like a double bottom here, so it is looking a bit more bullish. Looking for a dip in a pump, a dip like this to retest our EMAs and kind of like a pump like that. So watch that very closely. For Celsius, we're making lower highs, not the best of news. This might dip a bit as a result of this, depending on if we could hold our EMAs at 26.7. So if we lose 26.7, we could be dipping to 25. If we hold this, we could try to bounce and reverse like that. For Supermicro, we're making higher lows right here, so we have to see how this ends up reacting. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down to 35 or below. If this holds, we could continue to uptrend for the 45 plus area. For Palantir, we're looking a bit more bullish. We have an inverse hand shoulders like structure. This looks quite good, but I don't want to see us lose to 82.68. As long as that holds, we're going to be favoring a push for 91, at least from a technical standpoint. But we'll see how this news involving, geopolitics affects us. For now, the chart does look a bit more bullish. Rivian wants to break past 10.88. If that breaks, we're looking for basically 11. ARM, I want to see this just not lose 116. As long as that holds, we could be looking for 120 plus, eventually 122.8. Coinbase is making lower highs here, not looking too good. It looks a little bearish, so I do expect this gap fill tomorrow. Not just a gap fill, like a little bit of a dip here to fill this this wick over here back down to like 179. So I think there might be a small dip towards 179 to 175, and we'll see if we get a bounce off that or not. Amazon's trying to rebound. I just want to call out that we technically have this EMA that's worth watching, 197.8. As long as we hold above that, we're looking for the 202 area. If we lose this, we could be dipping to 195, so it could be a dip and a bounce coming. For Meta, if we break past 610, we're looking for an attempt for 617. If we lose this, we're looking for basically 600. We could dip here and try to bounce off this, so watch that very closely. Microsoft has 389 to be tested. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 393. If we lose 384, returning back down. So I can see a little bit of a dip here and a bounce coming off this double bottom. Google has 168. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 170. If we lose 166, we could turn back down. I like this double bottom, so we'll see if we could break past 168, and that could be looking for like 170 as our target. For the VIX, looking a little bit bearish here. That's a good sign for the market thus far. We'll see if we get some kind of pop first off this 20 area. We have this previous resistance becoming support here, so I might get a little pop before it continues to dip. So my prediction for now is that the market may see a slight pullback before it tries to bounce. Hopefully, we do continue to hold above our supports. But if I'm wrong, and in case we get a bad move, because new news could come out at any time, Donald Trump could talk about new tariffs and things like that could happen. You have to watch your levels, okay? If we don't hold 555, we're bearish on SPY. If we break past 565, we could turn a little bit more bullish. But watch those levels just to be safe, and just know that there might be some kind of pullback move tomorrow morning as we have an imbalance to fill. Might be a slight pullback right over here towards that like 557 to 556 area. Then we could be looking for a bounce after that. So pay attention to the news, guys. Look up news involving Donald Trump, what's happening with the markets. I would recommend also trying to see if we're going to get a ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine. Watch it all very, very carefully, and I'll keep you guys updated. So until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry I couldn't make this video as long or more detailed as usual. I do have very limited time today, but I'll be back with another update very, very soon. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow before market open. Until then, have a good day and peace out.